Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is It's About the Pasta, a Vanderpump Rules podcast, season 11, episode 5. We're in the trenches. We're going to Tahoe. It's Vanderpump.
Yeah.
But before we get into the episode, check us out on the A&M Podcast Network. We have this podcast. We have Summer's Fun, a Summer House podcast, which is live. It also does Winter House and Martha's Vineyard, which Martha's Vineyard is coming back. That will be delayed, but we will cover it. Don't you worry. And we have One Season Wonders, the show that has our heart, but not our time.
That's the perfect tagline.
Please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. We have 3 reviews. Aren't we excited?
Really?
Yeah, ask and you shall receive.
Oh my god, I can't wait to hear them.
Okay, so our first one is from T Kitty H, 2 stars, and said, "Oh my gosh, fix your audio." Which, if you're gonna talk about me, just at me next time, please.
Listen, we're not professionals here.
This was me. It says, literally one of you, me, sounds like you're talking through a fan. It's awful. I'm actually not. I was talking through my headphones and not my microphone because it didn't connect, and I'm so sorry. But we're here for quantity, not quality at this point. So
quantity? I feel
we have so much to do. I can't.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
We couldn't have pushed it back a day if my microphone. We couldn't have re-recorded. That would have been crazy.
Oh, that's the thing. Is like we will never re-record if there's an audio issue.
Sorry. But that's okay because our other 2 are 5 stars. So
good.
EEJJEOSMX, 5 stars, listening right now. Multitasker. I love. Okay, and says, I listened to all the Vanderpump recap podcasts during peak Scandival, and this is one of the only ones I stuck with. These girls are well-informed, have great takes, and are super funny on top of it. I'm from Chicago, and I totally feel like I'm having a conversation with my old friends. Keep it up, girlies.
God, I'm blushing.
Same. Way to call us funny and well-informed, because we have gotten reviews that say we are not well-informed about Vanderpump Rules, but we are.
I would say I'm medium informed. I'm sure I could be way more informed, but
I could be a little more informed.
I've dedicated a lot of my life to this show, and especially after going back in time, I think that has helped me be more informed because we're doing the old seasons.
But also Chicago girly, we love it. Thank you so much.
Woo.
And then our last one is from Love Those Halos, 5 stars, titled Good as Gold.
Oh,
which we love. You. And it says, love this podcast. It's like getting together with my besties to dish all the VPR gossip after every episode. I couldn't possibly miss Alicia and Meredith's thoughts after every episode of VPR and Summer House. Thanks for keeping it real and reminding me of all the craziness from past seasons that I have erased from my memory. You're welcome. We're here to keep that fresh in your mind.
We're knowledgeable.
If you tried to block something out, we're going to bring it up. So thank you so much for all those reviews. Like I said, we take criticism. I didn't say we take it well, but I said we take it. So thanks for your microphone one too. But the other 2 were way better. Yay, besties. Okay.
Woohoo.
Next, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Vanderpasta. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/Vanderpasta. Let me tell you what you can get. For $1 a month, you get access to all of our fun pre-shows where Meredith and I and sometimes Sarah talk about whatever the hell we want because it's our show. Also, you'll get access to any episodes we record early, including this one. For $2 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we go back and watch old seasons, we'll do an after show to talk about Bravo News. We don't give Bravo News away on the podcast, but since these are live, we'll just do Bravo News on this podcast.
Which there's a lot going on in the Bravo sphere.
I'm exhausted. But also we'll say your name on the podcast. So thank you to Allison, Chris, Courtney, Darby, Dee, Gabriella, Jackie, Jamie, Jennifer, Kirsten, Casey, Kelsey, Chrissy, Lauren, Sarah L, Sarah R, Tierney, Tonette, Tracy, Emily, Gina, Isabella, Leanne, Rio, Robin, Taylor, and Tara.
Shout out to everyone. We love you guys.
And then for $5 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we do live seasons, which is now, I will post on the Patreon and ask for your thoughts, opinions, questions, concerns, literally whatever. Also, I haven't missed a day yet, so you're welcome. I'm on my shit.
I'm so proud of you.
I do it in the mornings too.
Nice.
So like, haha. But I'll post and you give us your thoughts. We'll read them on the podcast. And then also we'll pick a patron of the episode and look who's on their shit again. This week's patron, it's me. This week's patron of the episode is D.
Yeah,
because
D.
D I don't think has written anything on our posts in a while, but she was first this time. So
love this. I love this. Alicia, you are crushing it this week. We talked on the pre-show about how we're on a what's it called?
We're falling apart.
Yeah, but only some of us can be up and some of us can be down. And Alicia's on the up and up.
I'm on
Sarah
an up.
and I are on the decline.
I'm on the up. I've been going to therapy a lot, and what I've learned is I'm doing amazing, actually.
You are!
Even my therapist is like, actually, you're really great. So I don't know why I'm even paying her, but I am because I just need someone to talk to because
you're too hard on yourself.
Yes. So hearing Meredith fall apart, it has really helped me have my confidence back. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, I'm just health-wise falling apart.
I actually can't breathe. That was a good one.
Oh my God.
My confidence is higher than it's ever
that
been
bitch
before.
is on the down.
Haha. No, I'm just kidding. I hate to see people I love on the down.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I can hear.
But I'll look down at you and wish you the best.
I'll wave.
We're gonna get a review that's like, one of them's a bully. It's me.
One of them's so mean to the other.
One of them's really sick and the other one's a bully.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for my voice if it sounds weird.
Who's who?
Alicia's like pushing me down the stairs right now.
I'm just not letting you all the way up.
Oh my God.
Anyway. We haven't even started this stupid episode. Okay.
That's how you know it's going to be a good one when we're dying in the intro.
We're just like the worst. God, this is going to take forever. Okay, so previously on Vanderpump Rules, James got Graham back. Sheena is struggling with her OCD, and Brock and her mom are at odds. Everyone is beefing with Sandoval, but Schwartz hosts this Tahoe trip and invites everyone, including Sandoval. Ariana refuses to go, and she doesn't want Schwartz in her life either. Sandoval and Sheena talked in the back of Sir when she looked like Shania Twain on a motorcycle, and nothing changed. And then Lisa's trying to get the group to forgive Sandoval in case his mental health is really bad, which I would like to say, someone made such a good, Katie and Dana, I listened to part of their podcast, and they actually made the point where they're like, they're trying to give him this like, hero edit, right? And Lisa's like, we all need to forgive and move on. And Katie's like, I can't though, because then he says things like this where it's like he hasn't grown. He does New York Times where he compares his life to a crazy murder and like a tragedy and like has no remorse for it because she pointed out he did an apology on his Instagram story because he didn't want that on his actual page. And so Katie's like, this is why I won't move on with him. And Dana, too, is like, fuck this loser. So
I'm so thankful we got Nick Viall's podcast, and we're kind of seeing, I don't want to get a lot of like content on Sandoval, but it's really showing me his mental state now because honestly, these editors could have convinced us to feel a little bit more sorry, for Sandoval based on how this edit is going. And I agree with you. Another big thing I'm hearing in social media, Nick Viall said this on his podcast, is it's really sad that if Sandoval really was having suicidal thoughts, that production still filmed with him. They should have made sure he was okay. And like, they're basically exploiting this for a storyline. And if it's not true, that's even worse that they're exploiting this for a storyline. Yeah. Like, I just don't think you should touch mental health. Like, I think the person can sit there in their interviews and talk about their mental health, but I don't think it should be exploited for a storyline ever.
I agree. And I think production and Lisa Vanderpump and whoever edited this has really shot themselves in the foot with the final edit because
they look gross.
People are unhappy. People are very upset by this. And I do think it was the wrong thing to do because he's
I
not
agree.
sorry. And I don't think his mental health was really in that much jeopardy because no one did take action. No one was like Lisa wasn't like, hey, you should go see a therapist. She was like,
Yeah,
I'll have Lala and Sheena forgive you.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
There's no, if you're gonna make this a storyline, then let's actually educate then the American public, honestly, like universal public, because
Yeah.
I know people outside of the US watch this show, like good ways to like get help. But I also don't think like doing therapy sessions on a TV show is a good idea.
Is helpful
like,
either.
But like
right?
talk
But, like,
about that. Talk about what you were doing. Like you can talk about your
in
journey with your
therapy,
mental
yeah.
health. But I don't really believe he's doing any of that, especially because he continues to kind of like shame Raquel when she was in her like mental health facility. Like it actually gives me more empathy for Raquel making it a priority.
Same. So I would just like to say with that, whatever edit Bravo gives us, we have to just cover it. That's the edit we're given.
Yeah.
But I do not believe for a second Tom Sandoval is A, remorseful, B, trying
Agreed.
to grow, or C, any kind of. I think he's a little depressed, but I don't think it's because of what he's done. I think it's because he got caught.
I don't think he's identifying it as for what he's done.
Yeah, I think he's a dick. Okay, great. Let's get into this episode. So, Sheena and Brock's apartment. I would just like to say Summer Moon was crying and I was upset by this. I didn't like it. She stopped for a second.
Overly tired.
I know she did stop immediately, but I really felt for her because she's my favorite Savage.
Really like seeing their family dynamic, and I'm really happy to see Brock is like an active parent.
Yeah, he's putting her down for the nap.
I know he has 2 kids that like that was a big storyline like 2 seasons ago. Like, but to be honest, I'm not touching that piece of his life anymore. But I love seeing him as an active dad to Summer Moon.
I think it's great. Okay, so Katie and Ariana hop in the car really quick. I thought this was funny. Katie's like, hey, does my car smell like weed?
These little snips, I was like cracking up, but I also was like, what are we doing here?
Some of them are pointless, so I skip over, but some of them crack me up a little bit. Like when we go to this outdoorsy store and Schwartz tells the guy in charge, he's like, hey, I'm in my Adam Sandler era.
I loved it. That's the Schwartz I love, where he's just like says anything and has really no consequence.
To anyone. Who is this guy?
Oh my God.
This guy's like, great. I don't really care.
He's like, cool. Sounds great.
Then we go to James. He's driving back with Graham.
He's so happy.
He's singing a little song. Graham is I don't actually remember how it goes, but it's like, Graham is my favorite boy.
Oh my God.
He's like singing it over and over again. It was very
loved
cute.
it so much. Him happy makes me so happy.
So happy. The title that the editors give us changes from Raquel's dog to James's dog.
I just think it's so funny.
Hilarious. James never thought he would be back with Graham, so he let go of that bond, and now he has Graham again, so he's just over the moon. And he does share that him and Allie have discussed a dog. They actually talked about it when they went on that matching walk in their sets. He doesn't, though, know how Allie's going to react when he brings home his ex's dog.
I didn't even think about that.
I didn't either. I just thought it was a dog, in my head.
In this, I think most people know I'm not a huge dog person, but I've always wondered, so like this won't be a problem for me at least, because like it'll take years to convince me to get a dog. But when people are dating and get dogs like together, it weirds me out. Like one of you has to from the beginning take ownership of the dog, because I find it so weird to be like, hey, we've been dating a year, let's get a dog together.
I agree. Someone in college did that with her longtime boyfriend.
No. Did they break up?
They were high school, couple. They were a high school couple, and then they went to college together, and they went to the same college, and then they broke up like junior year, but they had a dog.
Oh my God.
And I think he got the dog, which was fine. I know he got the dog.
I just always think like, if or when you guys break up, who's getting this dog?
Yeah,
it's a thing I think about every time I see a couple not married or engaged get a dog.
Yeah, together. I think it was smart that Raquel knew that was her dog.
Yeah.
I think now Allie owns the cats and James will have Graham. But yeah, I also think about that because even look at Katie and Tom. They fucking divorced and now they have
That
two
makes
dogs.
more sense. Like, they were married. I kind of understand, like,
you get a
post-divorce how this
dog
happens.
once you're married.
But that's miserable to do with like an ex-boyfriend, not an
and you're
ex-husband.
still doing visitation. It's basically like, it's still awkward.
Yes.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go to the car with Katie and Ariana. They talk about Miss Penny. Remember Penny, our sandwich maker? She called because someone pooped on their patio.
I cannot. I just
for a second I was like, oh, like dog poop, and then they were
thought
like
birds or like a dog.
Pooped. And I was like, oh, someone just went out there and did that.
Do you think they did it as like a I stand with Sandoval?
That's what I think. But I like don't
Just
know.
go right on their Instagram pages. That's better.
Yeah,
to be
my
honest.
God, it's more embarrassing for you that you've done this.
Go bully them on Instagram. Don't. Poop
If
on
my
their front
friend
porch.
ever told me they did this, it's more embarrassing for them.
I agree.
Terrible. So they're still not open with their sandwich shop because they're dealing with permits and ramps and violations. And they wanted to open in fucking July, but it's not open, and it's still not open today in today time. So they said they just keep getting like blows from the city, or like they just keep getting like hit with stuff from the city.
Yeah.
So Ariana's like, who do I have to blow to get shit done? But they're all gay, so no one's gonna even accept that.
That was so funny. Also, this storyline like overall kind of annoys me because it makes me feel more justice for Schwartz and Sandy's debacle, and I'm like, I don't want to feel that way.
I don't want to feel
Stop
it either.
Proving that they weren't a disaster.
Were they West Hollywood? Is it just West Hollywood that's a fucking pain in the ass?
Dude, I'm sure opening a restaurant in any regard is just pure chaos.
Can't they call Lisa and be like, can you go talk to someone at City Hall?
I think some of this goes along with, like, if you've never done this before, you don't know what to do ahead of time before your inspection. Whereas Lisa does this all the time. She knows the ramps and this and, like, everything that would probably, or, like, hires the right people to know every little thing that needs to be have attention. And so while they may not pass the first inspection, there's only maybe like 3 things that are out of line and they need to fix that are quick, and you can quickly do another inspection. It seems like they constantly are doing inspections and they constantly get hit with another thing that they weren't told about before, and that itself is annoying too. Like, just tell me everything.
Tell me everything I gotta do. Okay, they talk about how they're not even a little sad that they're gonna miss out on Tahoe. Because Katie especially is like, it's gonna be a bad trip because Schwartz planned it and he's never planned anything in his life. And Katie doesn't even think that Schwartz thinks this is a good idea.
I don't think he does either. I just think he feels uncomfortable not being able to fix Tom to make this group come back together.
Lisa told him, like, hey, you're going to plan this trip. And he's like, okay.
Well, and production is probably like, you're kind of like the center of bringing Tom, the outlier, into the group. And that's just miserable because it's not like he can control Sandoval to be like, hey, if you apologize genuinely, like, we could speed this up and I wouldn't have to, like, jump through hoops to make this happen.
But Sandoval won't. No. Okay. But Katie's also like, hey, what if everyone comes back besties with Tom Sandoval? And Ariana's like, that would be really tough, but I'm not going to compromise the boundaries I have made. And Ariana says she's not going to be loyal to people who aren't loyal to her. Which I think your boundaries are your boundaries. And if you don't want anyone that's friends with Sandoval to be friends with you, that is totally your prerogative. I don't think them being cordial to him is necessarily like not being loyal. I think where it gets messy is when you start talking about her. At least this is what I would want. If you're hanging out with my ex, that's fine, whatever. But when you start talking about me and my life to my ex, that's when I have a problem. Like that, I don't want to be brought up. I don't want to be talked about.
The way they talk about Sandoval or bring it to her as well will tell her how, like, ingratiated they are. Yeah, like, I think she'll have really strict boundaries to begin with and slowly soften them as she, like, figures it out. But boundaries are for you. So she's only putting a boundary on herself on who she will be friends with. Like, she's not saying you can't go hang out with Sandoval because you can't put a boundary on someone else. But don't be mad when things change because, like, she's not comfortable with telling you things about her life anymore. Like,
yeah. And I think Ariana's always been good about her own personal boundaries. It's everyone else who's always been like, if you go near Lala, I can't be friends with you. And Ariana's never done that to people, but she's always kind of kept her own, like, I'm going to do what I want. And like, if that's not okay with you, that's fine, but that's where we differ.
Yeah.
But as we know, Katie is loyal to, that is her number one. So she's, I think, going to stick by Ariana. And I think Ariana loves and respects that. And I think that's why they're close. Because part of me is like, is Ariana's thoughts on loyalty changing a little because of like this situation? I haven't delved that deep into it, but you know what I mean? Where Ariana's always played the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Now is she like looking at it differently, and that's why she like probably puts her relationship with Katie higher up. But I don't think Ariana ever did anything wrong when she was playing the middle. She just like wouldn't.
I don't think so either. I think she graciously played the middle of like, I'm not going to listen to you bashing somebody I care about. Like, you can bash him however you want,
have your
just
opinion.
not to me. Like, leave me out of it. Like, don't. And I think that's what she would want for her friends if they do, like,
I think,
socially hang out with Sandoval and just sit at the same table. It's like,
don't I was wondering that. Because Katie would be the type that's like, don't go on this trip. Which we've dealt with before.
Yeah,
but like,
I agree.
So I'm interested to see how Ariana's boundaries stay and how she deals with this going forward.
Mm-hmm. I know, especially seeing like the next time on. It's gonna get real interesting.
Okay, so then we go to James's house. He's like, "Hey, Allie, got a surprise for you." And then
I thought he would text her on the way home, but thank God he didn't, because I loved this live reaction.
She was literally like, "Is that Graham?" He's like, "Yep." So he tells her there was just like foster stuff and Graham's rescue, and now he got Graham. And Allie's like, "Okay, Mr. Banks, the cat, has never met a dog before." And so
Mr. Banks walking in too during this, I'm like, this is incredibly timed. Like, was a producer holding that cat in another room being like, all right, you're
shoved him out. And then Graham is being held back by James because Graham's very excited to
I know
Mr.
nothing
Banks.
about integrating a dog and a cat, but I just cannot imagine it would go great.
I don't
think this is like a ding against Graham and like being bad behavior, because I just feel like it'd be difficult no matter what.
I also think like they play differently. Like, dogs are bigger, so they have to be more gentle, and where cats can like climb on a dog, and like I see videos occasionally, so I'm assuming. But like, I also feel that Graham could open his mouth, bite Mr. Banks, do some damage.
Oh, absolutely. So like, it's gonna take a while to transition.
Training. We're gonna need lots of training. So Allie then in her interview is like, "Listen, I like cats. They're independent. They live their own lives. And now we get a dog, and it's basically like if we were to get a kid, because now we have to take care of it."
Yeah.
And I agree. People ask me, "Are you a dog or cat person?" And I say, really neither. But if I had to pick one, gun to my head, I would probably pick a cat for my lifestyle.
If I wasn't allergic to cats, I would. I feel like I've just grown up with this hate of cats because I'm like very allergic to them.
You're allergic.
I am allergic to dogs too, but not severely like I am to cats. So that's why they both annoy me, to be honest. Like, because they make me sick.
Okay, you have no allergies. Gun to your head, you have to get one.
I like the style of cats more.
Yeah, for your lifestyle. Which one are you getting?
A cat. But I think cats lick too. Like, animals licking me is a big no-no to me. So that's like also.
I think dogs are way worse. You know what's the grossest?
You don't know where that tongue's been.
You know the grossest are owners that kiss their dogs on the mouth. Or let their dog kiss them on the mouth.
I saw a video the other day, Alicia,
of
a dog licking a baby's face, and I thought that is the most horrendous thing. Like, you should not let a person kiss your baby, let alone a dog.
Ew. Listen, Meredith, this is not an animal podcast. We need to make that so clear.
No, and if you love dogs, that's great. Sarah does. Love that for you. I'm not on your team.
I'm definitely more a cat person. Though I think litter boxes are absolutely disgusting, and I never want one.
Agree. I just don't want to like have to deal with anything. I like at this point I don't want kids in my life either. Like, I want no responsibility other than myself.
A cat is very minimal. I have a lot of friends that have cats, and they will always just like, one of my friends asked me to watch his cat when he's gone. Yeah. He goes, "You just need to go like once, like every 3 days." Once every 3 days.
3?
Yeah, because the cats, you put out some food. The cat is like not like a dog where it's probably going to eat all of it, especially his cat. He's like, "I know my cat. Just go. She'll be fine." He's
My
like, don't even touch the
God.
litter box. I'm
I
like, okay.
love that.
So yeah. Anyway, so they take Graham to the backyard. Raquel does not know that obviously that James has Graham. And James is like, but Graham is property of Lisa Vanderpump, so it doesn't matter. And Allie's like, listen, if someone took Mr. Banks
Mm-hmm.
after I lost everything, I'd be mad. So this is kind of mean.
I kind of agree. Like,
I
to
do
find this
too.
out on, like, in the media or something, I'm pretty sure she found out on social media, like, when James posted that photo in Lake Tahoe. Like, I don't think that this should be found out on social media, but I think it's the responsibility of Lisa to let Raquel know. Like, for
I
James
agree.
to reach out, like, that's not a good idea.
And in like James's defense or someone's defense, James didn't take Graham. Graham was
No.
given up, and then, but yeah, it should have been handled way better. Allie's also like, fuck, I dealt with Raquel all of last year. Now I have to deal with her dog. Like, this girl's just gonna live forever in my life.
I need Allie to be a full cast member because
She's
she
great.
carries this show for me.
She is, you know how we always say there's an audience in a cast
Yes.
member, and we like that.
Mhm.
And it's usually only with Summer House because Vanderpump Rules has been doing this so long. No, Allie is the audience.
She's
Allie
just,
is
like, reasonable though. Like, I
Yeah.
do, like, she has a heart and she has, like, empathy, and she can feel for Raquel and for Sandoval without just, like, negating everything that they've done. And that's
Yeah.
how I feel. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, like, I feel bad for Raquel, like, finding out this information and, like, having her dog just kind of, like, somehow winding up back in James's hands, and she has no idea nor no control. Like,
Yeah.
I feel for that, but I also think James should have Graham Hippie.
Whatever. Yeah. So Graham then barks at Mr. Banks through the door.
I think it's a screen though.
Yeah. Or
so it's a little
I thought
scarier.
the glass was, it doesn't matter.
I couldn't figure that out. I was like, if this is a screen, that does scare me
Weirdly-
more because you could get through that.
Wait, weirdly, Californians don't usually have screens.
Actually, you're
doors.
so right.
So I don't think there was a screen. That's the only every time I have visited California and I go to like someone's house, there's never a screen because bugs aren't as much of a thing as they are in the Midwest where we are from.
Bless them.
So I don't think there was a screen, but whatever. I could be wrong. Anyway, Allie doesn't like that Graham attacks Mr. Banks a little through this screen or not screen door.
She's scary.
She's worried about Graham's behavior, and James says Graham doesn't hold on when he bites. He just nicks a little. And Allie's like, absolutely not. That will not be happening to my cat. So Allie's like, listen, he better be nice or he's going back to Lisa's. And I like this, like, you're going to get him training. Yeah.
And James says, and I think this is only a response, but like, all right, well, we will get him trained. Like, I think Graham Cracker needs good training, proper training. And I think he can be around a good dog. Yeah.
Yeah. So we go to this outdoor shop with the Toms. They're shopping for Tahoe. Schwartz then gets a notification on his phone that says Raquel is back to her birth name, so call her Rachel. And Sandoval is like, yeah, I knew that already, but I wasn't going to reveal it. I'm in the loop.
The way he acts about these stories is so uncomfortable.
I'm in the loop. I got it.
What do you think if he wasn't actually in the loop and like
he would
have
lie?
You ever had this where you find out things about friends and you're like, oh yeah, I totally knew that.
He would do that. He would totally he'd be like, I knew. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's not talking to her, so how would he know this information? The name change, I'll give him. Like, that makes sense. I bet she decided that a long time ago.
He found out a month ago, is what he later shares. It's been a month, Meredith. He knows. And then Schwartz gets another notification that Rachel is out of the mental facility. And Sandoval says he also knew that, but not because she told him, because he sent her a text message. And it came up blue instead of green. So that means she got her phone back and it turned on.
Which that's not true because her publicist had the phone. Remember at the first episode, Lala sent that voice memo and she was like, oh, it's been seen.
It's been seen.
And Raquel said on her podcast that her publicist had the phone. So that's why it was like seen.
See, Sandoval, of course, would be like, oh, I knew.
I bet he was blocked. And I wonder if she unblocked him once she got out of the facility. It was like deciding because I think they like talked for a little bit whenever she got out, and then she officially blocked him by her birthday.
Yeah.
On socials, everything. which is in September. So I wonder if she unblocked him whenever she got out, like wondering if they could like have a healthy
Oh, maybe.
relationship, whether that's a friendship or like a real relationship.
Well, the message he sent said, "Hey, I don't know if you're out yet, but just wanted to say to you that I'm thinking of you and I hope you're doing okay." Great. So he got no response, obviously, to that wonderful message that warranted all the responses, obviously. Sandoval thinks something's going on because she didn't talk to him on his birthday, which we know crushed him. But Rachel, he says, doesn't want to face the world. And Schwartz is like, me too, I get it. I didn't want to either. But you got to do it, I guess, at some point. So it's here.
Yeah.
Sandoval, though, he's like, I'm going to bring my cheery, happy energy to Tahoe. And Schwartz is like, same a little. I'm trying. I'm really trying. But he also lets Sandoval know that he's sticking his neck out for Sandoval. And he is hoping that this ends up like Wet Hot American Summer and not The Shining. Which I don't know if you've seen these, but Wet Hot American Summer, they just all hook up the whole time at summer camp.
Gross.
I think I'm thinking of the right movie. And The Shining obviously is a horror film, so
yeah, I don't think Sandoval is as grateful as he should for Schwartz like being a really great friend.
I don't think
in
so
this
either.
moment.
And then Sandoval asks the store if they have knives, and then he plays with an axe. What a fun guy! He's just so fun. Then we go swimsuit shopping with Brock and Sheena.
When they walked in and she was like, "This is my favorite store," and he was like, "Me too." I was dying. I was like, "I love these two."
Brock's a great B character. He's just hilarious.
For a minute, I'm getting convinced that he should be an A, and I'm like, no.
I don't think Brock.
Excellent B.
Brock doesn't know how to bring up like a conflict appropriately yet, because I think his idea here was like, I have conflict to get out on screen, but he didn't properly do it, so that it was good conflict. It was just messy.
I think the need for an A character means you have your own storyline, and last time he was an A character was 2020 and Homebody, and like that was a flop. So like I think he always needs to be a supportive character of Sheena.
I just think he needs to learn better reality TV etiquette, if that makes sense.
I agree. Also, it was hard because like she was in and out of a dressing room.
It was hilarious. Brock was hilarious during this. So,
oh my god.
Sheena's like, I'm gonna give you a fashion show in my swimsuits, and like, Brock's like, yeah,
my worst nightmare.
Also,
don't say it. Just do it. Don't say it.
Also, there's just one lady working at this store, and when we walk in, there's no one else there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Sheena says she feels anxious going to Tahoe and leaving Summer, and spending time with Sandoval in the house, so she's not even like going to relax. But she wants to go on the trip. She also does worry about Ariana's feelings. Brock's like, hey, what happened with Tori, our nanny? And she's like, well, Tori nannies for another family, and that mom went into labor. So now Tori has a newborn baby to deal with. So she's not our nanny anymore. And Brock's like, oh, which sucks because we finally found a nanny that Sheena trusts, and now we don't have the nanny.
Which is such a setback.
It is. I understand Sheena's OCD, and I understand Brock's frustration. I get both. Yes. I don't think either of them are wrong in their feelings. I also am not a parent.
Not at all.
So
I have no idea what Sheena is going through.
No. And I think that's why I have maybe like parents have less empathy for Brock. I understand wanting your life and wanting a break and having like someone who's not a parent, like your parent, come in and help, right? Or your in-law.
On a TV show where you have to do these things and like
alone.
Well, it's not like Brock can just stay home with Summer. Like he's also on this TV show, and so it's like we need something. This is our livelihood. In order to basically do our job, we need support.
Yeah. So Brock is venting about how like this sucks. We lost Tori. She has no idea. She's in a changing room. She can't hear Brock for shit. So then Sheena tries on her 2-piece swimsuit, which she looks great in. However, she doesn't think she looks great. I know, because she has a little. It's not even a pooch. It's like skin.
She literally just I'm like,
brought her skin out.
I know, and she walked. This broke my heart, but like I can't imagine the pressure of being in LA, being on a show. But like, agreed. I'm like, girl, you're You're perfect. You're perfect.
I like what Brock says, where she's like, "Oh, I have this little bit," and he goes, "You had a kid, like that's okay.
That's normal." Yeah.
So then Sheena's changing, trying on a one piece, and then Brock is like, "Hey, so about this nanny thing, can we get one so your mom's not always around?" And then Sheena's like, not when we go on trips because I'm not leaving summer with a nanny, which I also get, but
Yeah.
So Brock's like, how about what if we were to get a professional nanny who like does this? And Sheena's like, not a stranger. And Brock's like, well, the point of a professional nanny is you bring them in, you build a rapport,
yeah,
and then
they become like family.
And then they become like family, yeah. And Sheena's like, when we go out of town, the only person who can ever watch Summer is my mom. And Brock's like, I'm just trying to figure out why no one but your mom can come nanny. And Brock thinks the reason is because Sheena is paranoid from her mom and says that Sheena's mom makes her feel like she's not good enough as a parent. So Sheena then believes her mom, and Brock doesn't want Sheena to have that belief. Now, Sheena talked about this on a podcast.
And on the after show.
Oh, okay, good. What I heard on the podcast, it was like Sheena shared that she would not get parenting advice from her mom, but she would share things she did as a parent with her mom, and her mom would say something like, oh, I would have done it this way, or I wouldn't have done that, or like, oh, you shouldn't do this. So then Sheena would then question and be like, should I not have done this as a parent? Should I have done something different? And I think that's where Brock is a little frustrated with always having Sheena's mom there, is because
then it makes Sheena doubt herself.
I'm sure it makes Sheena, like Sheena and Brock probably come to some parenting decision, and then Sheena goes, Mom, what do you think? Which, if you're Brock, is like, who the fuck cares what she thinks? Like, this is our kid kind of thing. And I'm sure Sheena's mom then has opinions and says, well, I would do this. And then Sheena goes back to Brock and is like, change my mind. We're not doing what we agreed on.
Or even after the fact with her mom saying like, oh, I would have done it this way. Like, I bet that makes Sheena like spiral and like feel like she's not good enough. And then she feels like she can't take care of Summer on her own. Like, and like compounding the fear she already has in her head. Like, it's kind of like validating these fears.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad I watched the after show, because whenever I first watched this, I was like, I didn't really understand what Brock, like I understood what Brock was saying, but I didn't know if it was just like, oh, I don't like my mother-in-law type of thing of like, get your mom out of our relationship.
Yeah.
Just for helping. Like, I didn't realize she actually was making comments about Sheena being a parent. I thought it was just solely on the basis of Sheena's mom watching Summer and being the only person to watch Summer, which also...
I get when
you need other people.
I get when you're going out of town.
Yes.
Fine. But like on a day-to-day basis, especially someone who's so opinionated, it sounds like, on how you parent or like how they would do things differently.
Well, even if they're not opinionated, like I would not want my mother-in-law in my house every single day.
There's
like,
that too.
I want some space.
Also though, I don't have kids and I don't plan on in the near future or in the far future as of right now. But I said something as a joke, you'll appreciate this, to my family. Because I have like a very Christian cousin who's trying to set me up with all these boys. And I'm like, can you just stop? And my dad's like, she just wants you to like get married so you can repopulate the earth and have more Christians. No. And I go, little does she know, I'm not going to raise my kids Christian or Catholic. And my mom goes, yes, you are. And I looked at her, I go, no, I'm not.
Oh my God.
And she goes, I'm gonna then bring them to church, and I go, no, you won't, not again.
My friend had a huge fear of her mom getting her kid baptized.
I literally went, you won't take my kids to church, not without my permission.
Yeah.
And she goes, what? They have to be baptized. They have to get their communion. And I literally go, no, they don't. I go, that'll be a decision for me and whoever I have kids with.
Yeah. But, I wouldn't mind baptizing my kids, but yeah, that's going to be a me and my partner decision on how we raise our kids.
So listening to Sheena on this podcast say this, I was like, that brings me to my mom. And so boundaries need to be set immediately. So I get Brock being like, no.
My sister has a really hard time letting her in-laws do anything. Like, she always uses my parents. And so like I see Brock, similar to my brother-in-law, being like, let's bring someone else in. And like my brother-in-law saying like, let's bring my parents in.
Yeah. And
my sister will always like shut it down. Like, only very specific use cases will she use her in-laws, or like let the kids go to her in-laws. And there's other stuff behind it, like bad things that have happened. But like, I understand Brock wanting like something else. Because if you're just relying on one person, like what happens when your mom can't, or her mom's arm is injured
Her
or
mom's
something where she
arm.
can't lift Summer Moon into the crib? Like we need someone who is so reliable and it's their job and like is a neutral person.
Yeah.
Like that's all
I
I
think
can
that's
see he
it. A
wants.
neutral person who maybe when you're gone won't like quote parent your kid the same way you would, but doesn't
Mm-hmm.
tell you about how they did and how it's better or how like they would have done something
Yeah.
different. Yeah. So as Brock says this in the store, by the way, we went on a tangent, but Brock literally is like in the store being like, "You're paranoid about your mom."
I know. Well, she is
What?
changing, so I can't tell if it's like he's yelling because he's passionate, because he's not like screaming, like really.
No,
It's just he's
he's
loud.
passionate.
Yeah, and so I can't tell if he's passionate or like she truly can't hear you behind that curtain.
That's the thing is she comes out in the middle of it and was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? And can we stop arguing in this store?" And then you see the sales lady like, "Eep." And then
Oh
you
my
see people
God.
coming in but then leaving immediately from the
Oh, I
store.
thought that was production people. I didn't
Oh,
see.
I think it was probably people coming into the store in production being like, "Oh, we're filming." I don't think it had
Yeah,
anything to do with this
I don't
fight.
think so
Because let me
either.
tell you, if I got to go to a store, I don't care if there's a couple fighting. I'm going to go into the store.
I know, but if I see cameras, I don't want to be in there with cameras.
I might be like, "What are you filming?" But anyway, they leave the store and outside. So production has the camera has a weird like side angle to this, but this is where we get Brock like not again, he wasn't yelling at Sheena, he was passionately speaking loudly.
Yeah.
He's like, "It isn't fine, Sheena," and Sheena's like, "Stop talking." And I was
This
like,
bothered me
Sheena
so
doesn't want this on the
much.
show. Sheena doesn't want
Yeah.
this on the show. Sheena doesn't want you fighting on the
Because
show.
there's no camera on them. Like it's kind of through the window or like weird angles
It's
where
a
they're
weird
like kind of
angle.
talking on their own, and she's like, "Stop talking." Like I can't believe we would have like an argument in there, and like I don't want to do this right now. And I was like, "No, Sheena, I was really loving that you were being so authentic, and I was really loving this. I mean, I don't love that this is your storyline, but I was really loving.
I was interested in it. It was a good
in your
storyline.
life, but you being unwilling, I kind of understand you being like, I don't want to scream in public, but like you being
That's fine.
unwilling to have this argument on camera bothers me so much.
Because it looked like even the camera was coming out of the store as he's like, "This isn't fine, Sheena," and she's like, "Stop talking." And then they walk the other way, like
The way
not
she calmly
together.
goes, "Stop talking."
Stop talking.
I was like,
I went,
no.
"Shishu, come on." Whatever.
I'm sad.
So,
I'm sad.
that sucks. Anyway, so then we do another like quick montage where we go to everyone's different apartments or whatever. Lala tells her mom who's going to Tahoe and how it feels weird going without Ariana and Katie. Also, you know what's weird is I've been watching a lot of old Vanderpump when I work because it's just on TV on like cable and I have it on my phone, so I just watch it. It's weird how Lala and Katie were like bestie sisters, and now it's kind of like not that way, you know?
Yeah.
There's a little.
Well, I just think Ariana and Lala, Ariana and Katie really get each other's point of view right now.
And they're in the same place of life, right?
Yeah, they like really understand each other, and like I think Lala, I don't understand Lala's feelings and why then she can't be close with Katie and Ariana.
Yeah, I just think it's Sheena and Lala have kids. Ariana and Katie just got out of very long-term relationships.
Yeah, but why can't Katie and Lala, like what happened since?
Yeah, their closeness. I wonder if it was their lifestyles were just different or like what really happened, but it's weird to watch. Anyway, then we go to Ariana and Tom Sandoval's house. We see Anne. Anne has to consult on his outfit. She says it's all black, and she's like, "Oh, if you get jumped, it'll hide the blood."
Oh, his pants were red though.
Oh, was it? Yeah. I didn't even look.
It's like the way he makes her job so weird.
Hey, Anne,
I'm like,
what do you think of my outfit?
And she's like, it's good.
It's good. It'll hide the blood.
Why do I have to do this?
I love Anne, my little sweet baby angel. Okay, then James and Allie's house. James does not know how to pack for a lake. He's obviously not a lake boy. He's like, "Should I all black?" And Allie's like, "We're going to literally a lake." And I was like,
"God, you're gonna be so hot."
I'm a lake girl. I know all about lakes. I love a
lake.
I love a lake.
That's a big Midwestern thing, though.
It's lakes. Yeah, you guys do oceans on the coast.
But the thing is, the vibe isn't that different.
Well, ocean versus lake. But why would you wear all black?
What clothes you need to wear.
He also might be thinking woods, which is also different from lake, which is different. Tahoe's a mix, but if you got lake, it's different than woods, I would say. Than mountains.
That is true.
It depends.
That's a good point.
But I don't know when you would wear all black to anywhere but like going out.
Any
or
body
a city.
Of water. Yeah.
Okay, Lisa has offered to bring Graham to Tahoe on her private jet because they couldn't get him a ticket on their flight. So we cut to Graham in the private jet with Lisa and Ken.
This is my favorite thing from this episode.
This dog went from a foster family to a private jet.
They don't get invited on the private jet, but Graham can come because we need the storyline of Graham.
We need Graham there. So then Allie asked James if he's nervous to see Sandoval. And they talk about how Sandoval might react a little badly to seeing Graham because he probably hung out with Graham more than they know.
Why does it bring me joy for like Sandoval to be caught off guard by Graham?
I know.
Love it.
I do too. So then we go to LAX. We're getting ready to go to Tahoe. James has a scooter with him. So cool guy.
Oh my God.
Brock. So Sandoval walks into like this food court that the group is sitting at. And Brock, being Brock, is like, hey man, and like opens the circle for Sandoval to join.
We're here.
So then we go to Tahoe. We cut to Lisa having a photo shoot with wolves.
This is the most Lisa coded thing in my entire life I've ever seen. Like, Jesus Christ.
Someone tweeted and said, I'm so glad to see Bella and Jacob are still friends after everything.
Oh my God.
It was when Lisa was like face to face with the wolf.
No.
If you're a Twilight fan, you get it.
The end photo looked so much like AI created it. Like, why didn't AI just create it from the beginning?
Yeah, you don't need a wolf anymore. No. But yeah, Lisa talks about her new sexy, masculine wolf restaurant.
Also, the name on the wolf was like Oliver.
It's Oliver.
The wolf mascot. And I was like, no, we don't need a real
We're hiring wolf. Oliver as the wolf.
Like, will Oliver be at the opening? Also, I thought this was a restaurant opening. I did not realize it was just her.
I did too. I have so many questions. We'll get to it. I have a lot of questions. Great. Okay, so Lisa gets a call from Sandoval. She's like, hey, guess what? Because it's both the time. She's like, I did a photo shoot with wolves. I was like, great. So then she's like, how's it going so far? And Sandoval's like, Lisa, you'll never guess. They invited me to sit with them at the food court. It's a miracle. And then Lisa's like, great, keep up the good energy. Bye. So we go to the car with the Toms. I like that they drove separately because
me too.
Jesus, yeah. So Sandoval says he's so happy to get some humility from the gang. And he takes off his sunglasses to then start crying on camera about how
like
happy he is.
Slow tears.
Super slow tears. And Schwartz is like, this is a quote, and it cracked me up. Schwartz is like, yeah, it's nice to get a hello from people who are disgusted with your very essence.
My God.
So nice that they fucking want you dead, but they said, hey, right? Ba-doom. So Sandoval, he's crying in the car. He's crying in his interview.
I have a thing to say about his interview. It really bothers me. The way that man wiped his tears is the exact way a actor would. Like, you still want
an actor, not even a real actor.
I think an actor would do this too. You still want the tears around your eyes, so there's like a prop, I'll call it, like, of tears. Like, it's still shown, and he's like literally doing everything he can to like kind of touch the tears, but make sure they're still there. Like, he's not actually wiping his tears away.
He's not like us who would actually just like the tears away.
There's no swipe with the fingers underneath his eyes. It is literally using the weirdest parts of his hand.
That's the thing. If you're wearing makeup, you do like the cry angle, or you do like a little, you make it look like you're trying to save your makeup, even though you're crying a little bit. He fully wipes his face, just not the right way.
But yeah, nothing comes off.
He's like fully wiping.
You are playing this up. So that's what bothers me. And after that interview he did where the writer was like he literally lives like his entire life as reality TV. I believe he would do
Yeah,
that in
he's
his real
mad.
life, but that doesn't make it less weird.
It's he's weird. I mean, he's fully sobbing like Sheena at an airport food court said, "Hey, we're over here," and that was amazing.
My
I
thing
was
is,
like,
he said, that's the first hello I've gotten since the scandal broke. That's not true. Sheena literally said hello to you at Sir. Like, people address that your existence happens. They did it at the
people
reunion. Like,
usually just say howdy to me. They never
Ariana
say
is the
hello.
only one, and like Katie when she comes to the house, who ignore you. Like people acknowledge your existence. Let's not like make it that
Tom
dramatic.
Schwartz says hey to you every time he sees you, so just calm down.
It bothers me how he
Brock
makes
gives you a handshake.
he makes
Dude,
himself the biggest
he's a
victim
victim. He's a
ever.
giant victim. Okay, so then we get to the Tahoe rental home. It's a wild house, very nice. Lisa Vanderpump. I'm not
Beautiful.
giving Schwartz any kind of
No, whenever it
anything.
said Tom Sandoval's rental, I was like, fuck
Schwartz.
that.
Tom
No.
Schwartz's rental. No. So Schwartz says, so far there's an air of peace. Maybe they'll all bond and be one happy family again, and it'll all be because of him. And I said, you fool, there are two people missing. You will never be a happy family again.
Also, why do we have to go from 0 to 100? Why
Yeah,
can't the goal just to be like to
we
be able to
forgive.
like be together?
Yeah. Maybe we have some good chats, you know?
Yeah, be cordial and be able to like be in a group again.
Yeah.
Like, why do we have to like be whole and healed by the end of this trip?
So they all go to their rooms. Brock gets in his Speedo. Him and Sheena argue about how Brock did laundry and he put in the whites with a red. And so now they have pink clothes. And Sheena tells him if he can't do something properly, don't do it. And I was like, damn, he was trying, right? Like, we all fuck up a laundry or two. And I mean, Brock should know how to do laundry by now.
Agreed.
But also, sometimes a red sock just, sometimes you miss.
Yep, you're not perfect. I've had it happen to me. It's not like we all fuck up.
I feel
and they get to divide their household chores however they want, but her being like, let me do it all. I'm like, Sheena, like, I need to understand their like chore chart because if he's not doing anything, he does need to pick up.
Trying. Slack. Yeah. Also, though, like, I would have maybe said next time, make sure there's no reds with the whites instead of don't do it if you're not going to do it right.
Yeah, I hate when people say that. Don't do it if you're not going to do it right. Because, like, mistakes happen.
Also, your right is different from my right.
1000%. How about, hey, maybe don't dump things into the laundry. Maybe put it in one by one. So
your whites and colors, different. Also, if you just wash most of the time on, like, warm or, like...
No, cold.
Cold, it'll be fine.
Cold is how colors don't spread. Yeah.
I would just like to say I've never separated my laundry and I wash in hot and nothing's ever happened. I also
whatever
don't
that
own
red
a lot
thing
of red.
was had to be very new because
that's the
red
thing.
Really doesn't spread that much, like as wildly as people think it does.
You would have, it'd have to be crazy like a red. I also don't own red socks, which I think is what most of the issue is.
People always blame it on a red sock. There are no red socks. It's just
clues.
A random piece. I had that happen to me when I washed a red scarf accidentally. I like
a scarf would do it.
I put all my stuff in together when I was living abroad. And
shut up. It's never happened to me. I don't own a lot of red. Maybe people should just buy less red.
You know what? Maybe we should just all like boycott red.
Yeah. When do you wear red really?
Cardinals games.
Oh, shut up. Okay. So Sheena and Brock are still not over the nanny argument, but they're putting a pin in it. But now Sheena's annoyed by everything Brock does, which I was like, well, that's not healthy.
A bad trip, like, hey, we just had a blow up argument. We're going to put a pin in it.
Yeah. Okay, so then Brock and Sandoval are in the kitchen together. I liked Brock during this. I think Brock is a great person to bridge the gap of the Sandoval issues. I think he's great.
I also think he's just trying to have like normal chit chat for a minute there. That it's just like, hey, we're in a kitchen together.
I also love. I'm gonna say Sandoval does not want to discuss like the scandal that has happened. But like, imagine being Brock and being like, there's really nothing else I need to talk to you about.
I know. The daggers Sandoval was giving Brock during this conversation, I was like, don't treat Brock like that. Only the audience can treat Brock like that.
Brock's like an ex-football player. Sandoval's an actor. He's Brock's fine.
I would love to see Brock deck Sandoval once. Give me a chunky knit sweater ripoff moment of these two at a parking lot in Vegas.
Just like a little, Okay, so Brock asks how Sandoval's feeling. Sandoval says he's living in the moment. And Brock says, it's hard for the whole group because like they want to feel heard in the situation, but all like Sandoval's really done, or all you've really done is like defend your actions. And Sandoval's like, I want to go there right now. And Brock's like, okay, so if we don't go there, how do we move on? And Sandoval's like, that's a good for Brock. Yeah. And Sandoval's like, well, I'm already feeling better. And Brock's like, okay, but here's the other thing. You've put everyone's friendships in a really difficult position from what you did. Sandoval says, what he did was terrible. But him and Raquel, he says Raquel, not Rachel. I'm keeping track now that Rachel wants to be Rachel. But Sandoval says it's terrible what he did. But him and Raquel didn't do it with malicious intent. But they both feel that things were done to them with malicious intent.
I hate when people do this when they've done something and say, well, it wasn't malicious. That does not excuse it. I think it helps.
That doesn't mean it didn't hurt.
That's it. Like, it doesn't like negate it just because you weren't malicious. Like,
but also when you cheat, I hate to tell people if you've cheated, you were being malicious because you knew, right? If I'm taking care of your, like, let's say for the sake of argument and not to like anger anyone, I'm taking care of your fish and your fish dies while you're out and I'm taking care of it. That wasn't malicious. I didn't mean for your fish to die. But if I don't know, cracked your whole fish tank, and threw your fish out the window, even though I didn't mean for it to die, I killed it. Like, it's like,
well, it's like if I was golfing with a golf ball in your house and then it hit the fish tank. It's like, okay, that wasn't malicious, but you knew
I knew it was
could happen.
Cause an issue. Yeah. You're cheating but also you knew it was wrong because you were literally outside the house that you share with your girlfriend and you guys talked about it.
That's what I can't get past. It's like, it's an everyday decision that you are actively choosing to do, and then not only cheat, but then you are actively hiding it while you are filming this TV show. If it happened all off the TV show, you could kind of get me with, and it like a little rendezvous for like a month. Okay, a little bit less malicious. Like, I still think it's gross, but it's how long it was, hiding it behind camera, the like looks, the necklaces, the everything. It just
asking Ariana how your relationship is. Going
trying to make her look like she's the problem in the relationship.
Hey, Sandoval, haven't seen you in so long. Cut to they were just hanging out together last night. Like, and then blaming everyone else for what happened. Like, oh, Ariana was wearing t-shirts while having sex. And it was malicious. Like, and also you can't then be like, everyone else was malicious to me. That's their reaction to your malicious action.
I'm all for Sandoval at some point getting like an apology or an acknowledgement of like how hard people went at him and how maybe malicious they were on their podcast. But we're not dealing with the reactions until we deal with the core issue.
Yeah. We need to deal with the action.
Sit down on your problem until we actually deal with like what you have done. He always tries to jump over the big lump in the room and like deal with his small little like molehill.
I think that's what angers me the most about Lisa being like, let's just go easy. And it's like, because we can't. Because he will not acknowledge. Yeah. He will acknowledge, but he expects the rest of us to apologize and grovel and be sad.
He wants all the things he won't give.
Yes. So we go to James's room. James is stressed. He is stressed because he wants it to be a good trip, but Sandoval's here, so that can mean fucking anything.
I think he's stressed about graham cracker, to be honest, but he won't say it to Schwartz.
Yeah, he's like, ooh. So we cut to the kitchen again, and James walks into the kitchen, and Sandoval's like, hey, James, thanks for being nice. And James is like, Yeah, no problem. I mean, I'm
Okay.
keeping positive vibes. And then he goes, I gotta go. My hair's doing something weird. So
I gotta go to my room.
see ya.
This is like when your parents are fighting and you want to be nowhere near,
Well,
like in
James
a
is
public
like,
space.
yeah, James is like, I'm not trying to connect, okay? We're not cool.
No.
I'm just trying to exist. And
Yeah.
so Brock again is like, okay, listen, Sandoval, now that James is gone, your feelings valid, but other people are involved in this and they're not
Mhm.
enemies, they're hurt friends.
Yeah.
Because Sandoval's against them, is how he sees it.
Yeah.
Sandoval feels like the group wants him to grovel and beg for forgiveness, but they refuse to acknowledge how they treated him by talking shit and selling merch and pushing conspiracy theories on podcasts. He sounds crazy. He sounds like we can't keep going in the circle, Meredith. He sounds crazy. Like we
I
can't
just
ration.
he will never be able to prioritize other people's feelings over
Well,
his
he
and deal
says
with truly the problem.
he says for us, for everything to go back to normal, it needs to be mutual. Everyone has to apologize. And
I
then
hate people like that. My
same.
brother's doing that right now, or like he's kind of being like Sandoval, where he thinks that we all owe apologies, and I'm like, it was a reaction to what
To
you
your
did.
action,
Like,
yeah.
and I told my brother, like, if you want an apology, you better be ready to come to the table with an apology. And he was like, why would I apologize? And it's like, are you kidding me?
That's it. Is like
Are you kidding me?
we all need to come with an apology, but like who should go first is the person that did the action.
Let's start in like chronological order. And it's like
Chronological order,
you
how'd this
will
start?
never.
Yeah.
He will never. And I hate how he always says like, "Oh, people want me to grovel." And it's like, "No, I want you to actually sincerely identify where you hurt your friends. Ask for forgiveness, discuss it. Like I'm not sitting here asking you to be on your knees and be like, "Oh, I'm so
It's like
sorry."
it's crazy what he thinks. It's crazy, right? I'm getting dumber listening
We
to
will
him.
never. I don't think he
You'll
will
never
ever
ration as
understand.
crazy. No.
Yeah, and I don't want people like this in my life.
No. So, we all go out into the patio at the Tahoe house. Everyone's here, and Schwartz is telling them that they're going to go to Lisa's restaurant later. And then Sandoval thanks the whole group for being friendly towards him. And it cuts to the girls, so like Sheena, Lala, and Allie sitting there, and Allie gives the most awkward. She would be me. She's just like a half, like,
Mm-hmm.
what are we doing
Yeah.
here? So then Sandoval has someone coming tomorrow to do a guided meditation, and Brock is pumped. He fucking loves that shit, even though it's corny, he says.
I appreciate Brock for like commenting and talking to Sandoval because we
Yeah.
do need to like make this not super fucking awkward in
And
this
Brock
house.
is
And
kind of
Brock is
removed.
doing Brock is
Brock
doing
doesn't
enough
care.
where he's not like besties with Sandoval, but he's like, that sounds great. Like I love that type of stuff. And it's not like he's saying like, oh Sandoval, thanks so much for doing this, but he's just like, I'm
Yeah.
in. I
He's
love
like,
that shit.
dope. What else am I doing? Nothing.
Yeah.
So James is sitting there though. James is like, "Oh, sure." Like he's just trying hard to get on our good graces, which again, I see why James would be more upset than like Brock or Allie, right? Brock,
Yes.
Allie, and Schwartz are really going to be the three to like keep it not awkward in this
Yep.
situation.
Mhm.
So then Sandoval shares that guided meditation has been a good replacement for drinking, and we find out he drank probably every day for about 2 years. And he says he was probably a functioning alcoholic and he's taking a break. And Lala's like, like it doesn't need to be a forever thing. You
Yeah.
could take a day at a time, like how I do it. And Lala in her interview says it's great he's working on himself. And honestly, at this point, Lala's like, if it's all bullshit, whatever, I don't have to sleep in his head at night. Like, I don't give a fuck.
I agree.
Yeah.
But it does constantly feel like he's doing all these things as a manipulation because
Like he's
not
relating to
sober.
Lala. Yeah.
Well, he's like trying to prove to us that he's like so great, but it's like you already told us you're only sober to like be with Raquel, and
yeah.
like as soon as filming ended, I'm pretty sure he started drinking again. So I just feel like it's such a
Yeah.
manipulation tactic to
It
be like
is.
I'm doing great.
It
And
is.
I'm not saying he has to be sober for the rest of his life, but he plays it up as if
Well,
as
he's
if this
not doing
mindfulness thing or
anything.
whatever it is like some saving grace for him. And it's like, I just think it's all bullshit.
It is, because he's saying here, like, I'm sober to be a better person, but he's sober with Raquel, right? And then he's like, I'm really working on guided meditation, my mental health, but you're not going to therapy and like actually talking and working it out, right? So it's like, you're doing things that
he
are,
touts that he's doing these things.
yeah, you're doing things that are, quote, for wellness, but are you actually taking care of the problem that has been presented with you? And like working through it. So whatever. Yeah. But Sandoval says he wants to experience everything sober. And Schwartz goes, but not sex, right? Because ew. I was like, oh my God.
That weirded me out because I actually hate sex when I'm drunk. I don't find it like that enjoyable.
Same.
So I was like, wait, that's actually anti what I believe.
And also I was like, poor Katie. No wonder they never had
sex. Oh my God, I did not even think about that. I thought of
Katie immediately, yeah. So then, we hear a bark and James is like, hey everyone. I have something to tell you.
This scene gave me exactly what I wanted out of knowing Graham Cracker was in Tahoe. Yeah. And thank God awesome. This happened because I was disappointed last episode thinking this wasn't going to be this, but it was everything I wanted.
Oh my God, it was so funny because then we get a shot of Lisa like walking Graham, but then when Graham actually comes down the stairs, it's without Lisa. So she like let him go to have his own entrance. And everyone's so shook, but Allie is like waving at Lisa. She's like, hey!
She's like, yep, he's ours.
Hey, we got a dog. So Lala's like, is this for real? And Allie's like, yeah, this is no joke. We have Graham now. So James shares that Graham is theirs because he was foster, blah, 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 the rescue, all of it. He also shares he might change Graham's name to Hippie because Hippie was the name of his godfather, George Michael's dog. And this is James's first dog, so he wants to name it himself. And Lord knows he didn't pick Graham Cracker.
I cackled at that interview. Jesus.
So Allie does say she's never seen James more happy. James says this is what happens when you go away and you can't handle it. And now he has his little buddy again. And you can tell Allie's like, but okay, like, I support. So Sandoval the whole time when Hippie is like running around, like Sheena's there, Schwartz is petting. I think they're all a little shook. Sandoval is just like crossed legs, not really looking at Hippie, trying not to know that he knows the dog. But anyway, he knows that what James is saying isn't the whole story, but he's not going to say anything right now as to like not ruin the moment.
He says James can't handle a conversation like that, basically, like to know the truth. And I'm like, it is not your place. It has nothing to do with you. You were not with this dog when it happened. You were getting this information. And so you were like, all he wants to do is put down James. Also, it's not James's responsibility to know everything. Like he only knows what Lisa told him.
Yeah.
And got handed this dog.
He got handed the dog. Who cares?
I hated that comment. I'm like, what does this have to do with you, Sandoval? Nothing. Like, all you want to do is put him down for having the dog in some way. And so, like, thank God he didn't do it in person, but it doesn't mean it doesn't suck less because you did it in your interview.
Agreed. So Allie asks Sandoval if he knew or if he knows anything about Rachel. Sandoval shares that he heard that Graham attacked a few people and they couldn't find Graham home, so they had to give him up. And Allie's like, oh, okay, cool. And then she's kind of like, well, it's going to be Hippie now. And if Rachel can change her name, so can Graham. And I was like,
I died.
Eep. Okay, so then everyone dives into the water. We have like a fun water moment. We get a weird shot of Sandoval on a rock posing as the drone like raises above him. It was weird. Anyway, then we cut to Ariana and Sandoval's house. Ariana gets a call from Lucinda, the designer who did their home, because Ariana is going to contact her lawyer about getting the prices for all the furniture and like putting that into a contract. So basically, the house was going to sell, right? Sandoval and Ariana were going to sell this house, but then Sandoval is now determined to buy Ariana out. And Ariana's fine with giving him the house is in the four walls, but she does not want to give him all the furniture because they bought that together.
This makes
And
sense.
from what I can tell, it's fucking expensive.
Yeah. Okay, I'm happy to hear though that she's like, I mean,
There's
she
a
wouldn't
reason.
love it, but she is willing to sell it to him if he pays correctly. He has to buy he may not have to buy all the furniture, but like the furniture's being accounted for. Like she is being financially responsible for herself. And now knowing that like what Sandoval offered her is like an undervalued rate, like bitch, stay in that house and like fight with him. I'm in for the fight now, knowing what I know now.
I get it. Also, it sounds like a lot of the furniture cost a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Which I get it. Like you're kind of loaded, and it's going to be on TV. So.
But yeah, if he wants to buy her out, add in all that furniture, or else that's what's selling, and we'll split that appropriately. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Ariana basically is putting a list of all the furniture and what it costs to send to her lawyer. So great. Can't wait to see this fight. So then we go back to the Tahoe rental house. Lala, Sheena, and Schwartz talk just about like Sandoval, and Schwartz is like, he cried on the way here, or he's so happy. And then Schwartz steps on a bee, so instant fucking karma just for causing this. We cut to James's room. James is like, Allie, I saw you talking to Sandoval. And Allie's like, yeah, okay, I wanted the fucking scoop. So I talked to him. And then she told him what she said about like, if Rachel can change her name, so can Graham. And James is like, that is so funny. Officially, it's hippie now. Bitches. Yeah, so.
Oh my God.
Okay, so then we go to Sheena's room. Sheena calls Summer Moon. Summer Moon does hang up on her at some point, which was awesome.
I love and hate when kids do that. I hate when it happens to me, but I think it's so funny when they do it to other people.
When Summer Moon does it, it's just savage. So Brock is really happy they got time away, and he does apologize for what happened at the bikini store. And he says he's not sorry for his point, but he says he should be more aware of his surroundings and care more about Sheena's feelings.
I didn't like that comment because I'm like, you're telling me she's coaching you to not bring things up on camera. But you should be, thoughtful of her emotions and opinions too.
So Sheena says she was just caught off guard, so that put her in defense mode. And then Brock says he just wants to get through this trip with everyone. And I'm like, great.
I do too.
And then Schwartz puts whiskey on his bee sting.
What?
Rock out. Mm-hmm. So then we go to Lisa's restaurant. It's still being built, but the gang is here. We see pictures of what it'll look like. And she says it'll be ready on time. So Lisa whispers to Sandoval a quick, like, be on your best behavior. And then Lisa's like, hey, does everyone want to hit a wall with hammers and shout things that they're mad about? And everyone's like, yeah. So James goes and he shouts, should have looked after Graham better. Got him. Schwartz does a little sad cry and says, I don't want to be single at 40. I felt that. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
That was crazy.
On the after show, he was like, oh, it's not that weird. All my friends are kind of single at 40. Like in LA, it is kind of somewhat weirdly normal. But you shouldn't want to be, because you're divorced. It is weirder. Like
in New York, it's normal to be single like when you're older. But I don't think it's weird if you're single and like older. I think Schwartz just didn't expect to be single, so he's sad about it. Because he was in a 12-year relationship.
I think it's sad when you're like a Peter Pan who won't grow up and single at 40.
But you still had a relationship. You never thought you would be single.
You fucked up your relationship.
Yes, you have to live with that.
That's why
you're single. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheena goes and says, motherfucking restraining order.
Oh, get that out, girly.
And then Sandoval goes, and he goes multiple times. He first opens up with scumbags and cheaters, and then the hammer gets stuck in the wall. So he has a little moment of like, ooh. And the whole group is like, ooh, awkward. And then he goes again, and he says, worm with a mustache. And then Charles Manson's son. And Lala's dying. She's like, that was me. I did that. And then he hits the wall and says, Lala.
I didn't like that.
The whole group is like, ugh, And
he says James.
He says James. Yeah, it's James Kennedy. But Lala, when he says her name, she shouts, "How about you hit the wall for your actions, though?" And
The
then
producers told Sandoval in the after show when he brought up the other people, and he goes, "Oh my god, did I?" I'm like, come on. Why don't you just say,
what?
like, having a shitty year, or, like, dealing with trolls on the internet,
I'm an
like,
idiot. Just
making bad
anything.
decisions,
Yeah.
blowing up my life. Like, I am for, you can say, like, the worm with a mustache, the mean names people called you, like, you can throw some of those out there.
Sure.
But don't say their name, their actual names, and then, like, throw one in about you.
Yeah. Well, James says if Sandoval would just apologize for his actions, this would probably be over. Like,
Yes.
that's why this keeps going, is because this man refuses to take any accountability.
Yes, he constantly backpedals, he constantly excuses or like redirects things, and it's like
Yeah.
that's what we are like then commenting on is your lack of accountability.
Well, and Lala's like, let us not forget why this all happened. And then Sandoval does one more and he goes, motherfucking Scandoval. And Lisa's like, okay, let's
Ew.
go drink now. So we go to a restaurant that also looks like it is Wolf by Lisa Vanderpump, but it's not.
Okay, so I realized this.
Okay.
We're at the Harris Casino. So it's kind of like in Las Vegas where she has a restaurant in a casino,
In a
but there
casino.
is other restaurants around, probably around this facility thing too. So this one is like, it seems like either a rooftop or higher up in the casino with a pretty view.
Lovely. So then we also see hippies here. It's like, wow, hippie.
The way Hippie goes along this entire day, I'm like, no one else would let this dog.
This is amazing.
Like, no restaurant would let dogs in like this unless it's a service animal. But like,
Also,
Hippie can come everywhere.
Also, it cracks me up because this group has openly said Hippie's a bad dog. So I'm surprised Hippie's around.
Yeah, but Hippie was a great dog. I kept waiting for production to be kind of like sassy a little bit and like show us a moment with Hippie where Hippie is not good. Hippie was great this entire day.
It seems like Hippie was great, right? We didn't see anything.
Maybe something did happen and Lisa's like, cut that if it can really be outside of the storyline.
I think so, because the whole cast has said they don't love, or like they didn't love Graham because Graham was terribly behaved.
Yeah. So. I also want to give justice for Graham for a minute because being in that, and this is not a real shame to like Raquel Rachel, but being in that like studio apartment cannot be good for a dog.
No, not at all.
So I wonder if just having a lifestyle change anyways will help things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Lisa asked Schwartz what the plan, or Lala asked Schwartz what the plan is after dinner. He obviously doesn't have a plan. He's like, we go here, we go to this bar, we can do
something is planned because production probably had to.
So then Lisa and Ken and Nick, the designer, all join for dinner. They talk about Graham or Hippie, and Lala's like, this is a different dog, which made me think also maybe Hippie was having a good day. Lisa brings up what Schwartz said about not wanting to be single at 40, and Lala's like, are you single? Because don't you have Joe? And Schwartz is like, no, I'm single. I'm single. I'm not ready to mingle.
This must be like a real storyline this season because it's like the second time it's brought up and then we're actually seeing it. Like I want Schwartz to confront this with Joe on camera. I don't want any of Joe like talking about other people on this show or other storylines, but I'm willing to have Joe on just so they can like discuss if they are or aren't something or where their relationship's at.
Yeah, I want to know everything. Okay, so Sandoval does the thing where he's like, hey, like Brock's not looking at him and he goes, hey, Brock. And Brock turns around and there's a camera for a selfie. So Brock's like, hey.
Oh, God.
It's like what a famous person would do. Like, oh, hey.
And then he goes, I never take selfies for me.
Yeah, I never take selfies just for me.
What? What was he saying there? Like he never takes selfies alone or like he doesn't take these photos for himself?
I don't know. It sounded like he doesn't take selfies to just like like if you and I were hanging out together, we could take a selfie and like not post it.
Yeah.
Like we would just keep it for us, like the memes. But then I would think he would post this. So then I was like, does he not take selfies alone?
It's so weird.
I don't know. It's super weird. But then Lisa's like, hey, everyone. Oh, God, I hate her. Let's do something fun. Hey, James, what do you like about Sandoval?
Give me one thing, one
And
nice thing you can say
James
about
is
him.
literally like, ooh,
My thing is,
why?
why doesn't Sandoval have to go first?
Hey, Sandoval, say one apology to someone.
Say one nice thing about James. You've been an absolute asshole about him since we've started filming this show.
Anything.
So,
Well, James is just like, Lisa, I can't have a conversation till I eat. Thanks.
I mean, expertly avoided.
And then James in his interview was like, how awkward for me, but like embarrassing for him because I don't have one nice thing to say about him. What would you say? Put on the spot right now. One nice thing about Sandoval.
Sandoval? He clearly hires a really great manicurist because his gel nail polish stays on forever.
Amazing. I would have said he doesn't care about money because he's always willing to spend it on other people.
Oh my
which
God.
was very nice.
I would say he does have pretty good hair. I mean, his hairstyle I don't like, but the actual like thickness, he has
I would
nice
have
hair.
to give a backhanded compliment. Like,
no, I agree.
Just to do it. Yeah, but great. So then Brock asked Sandoval about the house and him and Ariana and how awkward that is. And Sheena is like awkwardly on Brock's other side, like trying not to listen, but probably also being like,
to other conversations down the line.
Yeah, and Sandoval says he gave Ariana an offer, but in the meantime, they're just going to live together, and they actually haven't talked since the reunion. And he says he would totally talk to her, but she doesn't want to.
You're not some hero because you're willing to talk to her.
Well, he wants it to be that way. And Sheena's listening like, oh my fucking God, I don't know how Ariana lives in a house with this man because I can't even sit at this dinner table, which would be me.
I'm confused why the cast is confused on their living situation because they act like Ariana living with him means they like snuggle in for TV every night and like hang out. They don't. It's like renting an Airbnb house and there's another guest there.
And
like
you talk all through Anne, which like, is the greatest thing.
They don't see. He just said they haven't talked since the reunion. Like I don't. I mean, this living situation is not ideal, but it's not that difficult.
Yeah,
you never see him.
So then we go to some random Tahoe bar. Dinner was great. Lala asked what they should expect from this wellness facilitator tomorrow. Sandoval says she's just going to read the room. And James is like, do not give her clues. Let's all act so normal and see if she picks up on it.
This is how I feel about people who like read charts or
this is me. I literally
don't give
said,
them any details.
I was like, this is me, a skeptic. So anyway, Sandoval knows James is hurt because he's acting like a child. So he asked James to go on a walk. Do you have thoughts that you'd like to share?
I get so upset with this because why are you trying to, like, it is classic Sandoval to belittle people and, like, have this superiority complex on, like, he is such a child. What are you, Sandoval? What are you?
He's an adult, Meredith. He's a victim. He's a victim.
I'm not saying James isn't being childish, but I think it's well-deserved, and Sandoval is not acting very mature.
No.
In comparison, though, and that's what bothers me, is then, like, later there's another comment from his interview where he's like, he's just, like, so emotional or dramatic or something, and I'm like, you're not above him.
Yeah. So, Sandoval and James go on a walk. They sit together and talk. Sandoval says he doesn't want problems and just wants to coexist. And when it went down, the whole scandal, he was afraid to talk to James. And James is like, that's not really an excuse for the deceit and betrayal.
I love calling him out for that.
And Sandoval's like, we never meant to hurt anybody. And James says, nobody wants to hurt anybody, but you still knew it would.
Yes, James.
That was awesome.
You're saying exactly what I'm thinking, or like what I would want to say to people.
So Sandoval then throws his hands in the air and he says, what could come of this that could possibly not be catastrophic?
You don't cheat.
And James,
I feel like Sandoval acts like he had to cheat, and it's like, what did you want me to do? It's like as if his mom had cancer and he had to rob a bank. Like, what did you want me to do? And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I kind of understand that, but you were not forced into cheating.
You weren't forced into it
There was
because
no gun to your head saying fuck her right now.
I mean,
like, you have to do it.
James says you could have just ended things with Ariana and then had things work out with Raquel, right? Like you could have done that. And Sandoval's like, it's so easy looking in from the outside.
It is a lot easier to say it than to do it. Like, that is true.
Yeah, but that would be your solution. How to not have it be catastrophic? There's your answer.
This was always going to be a hard road. The easy thing in theory is maybe just to stay in this relationship, but you don't want that, and that's okay.
So,
but life is hard.
Do it appropriately.
Yeah.
So James is like, if you wanted to, right? If you really wanted to, you could have walked out that door. You could have said something to break up. You could have left. And when it comes down to it, you didn't man up. You couldn't man up.
You chose being like sexually satisfied.
Yeah.
Behind someone's back instead of just doing the hard thing, ending the relationship, doing it the right way.
Sandoval says it was hard because his life with Ariana was completely built. And again, I get that.
I agree. Yeah, it is hard.
Millions of people do it all the time.
You can do hard things.
You could have done it too.
You can do hard things.
Sometimes people have kids and marriages to end, and that would be even more difficult than your situation. Yeah. Can you believe? And then James is just frustrated because he's like, if you actually wanted to, you would have. It's rationalizing with crazy. And Sandoval, of course, is like, it's not that easy. And James is like, so are you going to be with Rachel now? And Sandoval's like, I don't know, because I have resentment and love for her.
How are you resentful of her?
Because she left him to deal with it all alone. Right?
Him saying he's resentful to her is when I started, like, I feel for her more after he said he was resentful for her. I was like, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, whatever. So, James says if it was worth it, and Sandoval doesn't know.
I love that he asked, was it worth it? Because Sandoval can't answer that question until they don't know that Raquel's not coming back yet. For the show, I think Sandoval would continue on with this relationship. And so then he could say it was worth it. But if she's not going to be on this show, they can't continue to date, in my opinion. Like, I don't think he would date her unless it's on the show. Agreed. So he can't really answer this question until he knows if she's coming back to the show. But no, it was not worth it. It was not worth it.
It wasn't. So Sandoval says it wasn't about being with Rachel or just about being with Rachel. It was also about getting out of this relationship that wasn't suiting his life. And the path he was on was not a good path. So basically, he also used Rachel to get out of this. Ew. Whatever. James is basically like, what you want and what, like, he's like, what we were boys. Like, and you negated that. And Sandoval does apologize for discounting that at the reunion.
Which I'm so happy he said this.
Yeah, I am
too. Like maybe Sandoval could apologize at some point. Like, yeah, we're getting somewhere right now.
And then James says he was confused about it because that was his guy, right? Sandoval was his most trustworthy. We see moments of them together. We see Sandoval even like helping him with his proposal, and James is like, thank you so much for helping me, and like there'd be no one else is basically what James says. Like, who else would I tell? Yeah. So James just feels really backstabbed by him and says, this is where the deceit and deception lie for me. Yeah. That we were friends. And Sandoval says he can't do anything but embrace what he did and says, you don't, wait, I remember what this quote was because it was super weird. Sandoval's like, I can't do anything but embrace what I did and say, yo, don't ever do that fucking shit again, you fucking idiot. That's what he says.
The look James gives him too is like,
what are you talking about?
You're delusional. Like, what are you doing? It reminds me of when Sandoval on Nick Viall's podcast was like, I won't cheat like that again. And they were like, what do you mean like that? Like, just say I won't cheat again.
Yeah, fucking weird. And so Sandoval's like, you know what I'm saying? And James is like, no, I don't know what you're saying.
Oh my
So,
god.
so Sandoval says he's taking accountability for hurting James, and he does apologize to James. And James is like, "Thanks, man."
Dude, this is the first
The
time.
first apology, I was like, "Shit."
I've like actually felt it be somewhat
Oh,
higher percentage of it being real.
was it bad that I was like, "Don't forgive him"?
No, I don't forgive him, but I'm like,
I was like, "It's fake."
this is the best one yet, though, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. So James says he needs to sit on it, but he does miss the good times. And
Mhm.
Sandoval was a big bro to him, and now he's nothing. Nothing will be the same, and that's why he's angry. And Sandoval says they'll work through this, and James says, "Let's just get through the night."
I
Great,
am shocked Sandoval did not bring up something that James has done or like put James down more. Like that's what I'm saying. This is the best one yet. Like I wonder if we'll get anything else like this season.
Sames. So next time on Vanderpump Rules, we had a boat day, Sandoval and Lala fight. I'm
Oof.
pumped. Um, Ariana is ready to cut out anyone who becomes friends with Sandoval. Sheena misses Sandoval as a friend and tells Ariana that she can't keep hating him for her.
I I'm really worried about next episode because back when this actually like was filmed, that photo with a fan came out
Mhm.
and Sheena was like we were together with Sandoval like for a fan, like it was just a photo.
Yeah,
I remember her being all over social media and Lala too. Like I'm pretty sure they were laying in beds in Tahoe saying this on social media. So to then see that there's actually a FaceTime where like Sheena's crying about wanting to forgive Sandoval, I'm annoyed. I'm so
same.
annoyed right now. Like fuck you. I'm not gonna be happy next episode.
I really don't know how it's gonna go down because I do also think just with the after show clips I've seen because I haven't really watched one yet. It
Yeah.
seems like both, and Lala has been open. I mean, at BravoCon too, she was like, "We gotta stop hating Sandoval and stuff." Like, it seems like Lala and Sheena have both been like,
Lala
I
seems
don't
more in the
know.
stance of like, let's stop, like yelling at him, like, let's stop the hate, but not really like, hey, I'm gonna be friends with him. Whereas it always comes off of Sheena, at least to me, that like she's like, I need to be friends with him again.
I know it's
And I'm
weird.
like, you don't, you
Anyway,
don't.
whatever. Want to go into accepted and blocked?
Yes.
Who are you blocking?
This is hard. You know what? I'm blocking Sheena. I'm really annoyed with her stop talking comment. I was really pumped about her storyline.
Yeah,
That doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry, but you don't get to like keep the shittiness
that's a
off the
good
TV screen. And I
one.
started to think every hard conversation quote, like I'm putting parentheses, air quotes on, I can never remember from Sheena is a staged sitting on a couch she is prepared for, kind of like probably self-directed a little bit, which is not a problem. You can have those, but like nothing ever happens naturally when she fights. I was like thinking about her and Shay.
Oh, that was awesome.
Like
Um,
nothing.
Okay, I guess Sandoval lands on me. I hated the. I give him a little bit of props for like saying sorry to James, but it's the whole like, what else could I have done? And oh, I got a
the
whole hello, and now my life's
the
complete.
palms wiping the
Thank you
tears.
all for being so nice to me. He's just a fucking mess, and I think like him hitting the wall and yelling literally everything that was done to him, but like he can't, it's like rationalizing with a crazy person. He can't see where he went wrong, but he continues to expect other people to apologize for the reactions.
Yeah,
And
he
that
only wants
drives
to bring
me
up
up a
others'
wall.
faults.
Yeah.
If they were unrelated, I would get it, but they're literally all in the same situation. Like you can't acknowledge one without the other.
Okay, so who are you accepting?
I'm accepting James. I freaking love him so much. I'm so happy he's happy with Hippie. Um,
Next week I'm gonna go first with all of these so I can have first first pick at James. Jesus.
And I think he handled the conversation with Sandoval really well.
Yeah.
I think everybody should hear Sandoval out if they give him a one-on-one. Like, you kind of have to do that for the cameras, but
Yeah.
you don't. That doesn't mean like I like that James is like I'm gonna think about this. Like, you don't. I'm not just gonna say, "Oh, all's
Yeah.
forgiven." I'll take this under consideration.
I think I'm gonna do Brock. I liked him.
Ooh, I like that pick.
I liked him bringing it up.
Mhm.
Surprisingly, I feel bad he got yelled at and stuff. But and like I get it, he didn't bring it up in the best way. But I understand his frustration. I appreciate him bringing it up on camera. I appreciate him being like the one that's not going to make it awkward TV with Sandoval, right? He's able to do both and be like, I'm going to respond to Sandoval, but not make it weird. I liked the
Yeah.
conversation in the kitchen where he was like, we're not against you, we're just hurt. I think Brock's a really good mediator. I think he doesn't care enough, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, it's not like
yeah,
he was like had this long standing friendship with Sandoval. I think he can be like a voice of reason.
yeah, yeah, which I like for Brock. So,
Yeah, and we need it as a
um,
show. Like, I know we all hate Sandoval and stuff, but like to tell a story, you do need some like gray area
we
people.
need someone to talk to him, but that's not
Yeah.
Schwartz.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 4 comments this
Okay.
week. Okay, so D says, hi, been a while since I've written anything, but wanted to say again that your recaps are the ones I look forward to the most.
Woo!
Thoughts on the episode in season 11 so far? I feel like the show could survive and dare I say thrive without Sandoval. I'm not loving the edit where we're supposed to feel sympathy for him, even in the after show. They're editing Lala and James to look worse than Sandoval during the flashback to the reunion. I didn't
Oh, I didn't
watch.
mind that. I thought it was actually really funny to watch them like I don't want to say attack him, but like be the
Yeah.
chirping dogs. I thought that was so funny because it was weird. It was like hard to. I feel like it's hard to explain how it was edited. Is like Sandoval was lamenting about how they like attacked him, whatever,
Of
and
course I
so like
did.
then they like played the clips over, but also with Dark's barking because he said that they were like barking at him, and it was actually so funny. I enjoyed the reunion and them like roasting him
I
like
did
no
too.
other.
I
So it
had a
was
lot of
so
fun.
funny to see like a campy version with like dogs barking with it. Like I didn't really think it made them look bad because I think most of us remember the reunion, but
It was great.
I kind of understand what you're saying if that's how you
I
took it.
I don't know if the show could I think it would depend. I think if we focus more on Sheena dealing with her OCD and like her issues with the mom and Brock's relationship, I think maybe if you like we actually had more of a sandwich shop and then running a business or something. I
Yeah.
don't know if the show could thrive, but I think it could get like a few episodes this season without Scandival being like the main point of contention, if
It could
that
be
makes
hard.
sense.
Yeah.
But we'll see. D says overall the season is starting off slow, which is understandable to some extent, but we're 5 episodes in, it feels like nothing has happened. Like Allie, I'm a cat person. My favorite part of the episode was watching her helicopter over Hippie and Banks interaction. I related to that scene a lot. Yeah, dude, I get it. Because I also love cats. And then anyway, so happy that Summer House is also airing between VPR and Summer House. I'm finally getting my Bravo fix. I've been trying to get into Southern Hospitality, but I'm not attached to any of the characters. Are you two watching? I have watched a good, let us say, 3 episodes of Southern Hospitality for Joke and Joe Bradley, but I saw a tweet. I
Oh
saw a
my
tweet
god.
that's why is he bad? Have you watched it?
I haven't watched the show. I'm not really interested in watching the show, but I can't wait to record Summer House and talk about
Joke
Danielle
and
being
Joe
on
Bradley.
Watch What Happens
I
Live.
haven't watched it. Oh, I
I
saw
know.
that. Oh,
Oh,
I
okay.
saw that. I saw that.
Okay.
Which is fine. No, but that's how I wanted to start it, and honestly, it's a little wild. But someone just tweeted and was like, "If you haven't watched Southern Hospitality, it is giving old Vanderpump Rules like
That's what I
Kristen."
heard.
Yeah, they said I have seen a little bit of it where it's funny. If
Yeah.
we're not going to, but if we were to do like a podcast on this show, we would be cracking up. These kids are so stupid.
Oh
There's
my
like one
god.
girl. This girl's ex is like one of those bike taxi drivers.
Oh, yes.
I thought he stole it. And my friend was like, no, that's his job. I was like, oh my God, I thought he ripped off like one of
I
these
have
guys.
seen that because I've seen like like clips of comments
Yeah.
or like it always Peacock always tries me to
The
get me to
kids are
start it.
wild. Listen,
I just don't think I can. It's really hard. It was really hard for me to watch the early seasons of Vanderpump over and like do that
oh,
commentary because I just
you're not there
I'm
anymore?
different now. Yeah,
I'm not. Listen,
I can't do so much chaos. You know, like I need us to pretend like people are adults, and I can't add in
I get it.
that stuff for me.
I've heard season 2's wild. There's also a girl that like hula hoops like at raves.
What
It was
the
so
fuck?
like I'm telling you, you know how we have really bad episodes of shows, but we have a really good podcast?
Yeah.
That is what this show would provide us with. It's so good. Anyway, I recommend it. It's not my favorite show. Like I said, I'm only 3 episodes in, but it's a good like in the background I'm working show. It cracks me up.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you talk about it, it gets funnier. Anyway, so Tracy says, hey guys, long time no comment, but I'm here now and I have thoughts.
She's back,
First,
baby.
the way Tom acted like everyone else needed to earn his forgiveness as well was
Ugh.
insane. He's acting like they all want to be friends with him again. And I feel like the only person who would actually consider it at the moment is Sheena. And barely.
Yes. He does act like they equally like hurt each other and equally need to come to
It's
the
funny.
table. And I'm like, the delusion on this man.
It's reasoning with crazy. Anyway, so I love Allie and her little dig about the name change. Her little side comments are the best. Sandoval with the sledgehammer was super cringy. This dinner feels so awkward and horrible. Katie was right. I think it would be better to eat a jean jacket than go on this trip. Lisa's at the head of the table watching over them was not what it used to be. No, because they don't work for her and they're all fucking functioning 40-year-olds at this point.
Yeah.
I miss when they were 20 and it's like they're a mess. I mean, they're still a mess.
Well, the kids have grown up. Just like we don't need our parents' approval on everything.
They
like
don't need Lisa's.
They don't need Lisa's.
I feel like the first and only thing that Tom has shown any accountability was his apology to James for discounting their friendship at the end of the episode. We'll see if it actually sticks. Probably not.
Well, it shows that he can do it.
He can do it.
He's
won't.
actively choosing not to every time.
My accepted for the week is Katie and Ariana because they were smart enough to not go on the trip. There is no FOMO from this.
That's a good one. It was just hard to pick them on anything since they're really.
I would have disqualified that. I would have been like, no. But I get it. Blocked is Tom. He is just not listening to what everyone is telling him. It doesn't matter that his relationship was no good. It does not matter if your lives were tied together. The only way he could have possibly worked is if he broke up with Ariana. He just doesn't like to do things that are hard. James is telling him to face what went wrong, and he is still not hearing. Yeah.
It's wild Tom can't say that is the only appropriate good thing that needed to be done.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't see the difference of that. He's like, I couldn't. Our lives were too entangled. I had to cheat.
Well, what did you want me to do?
What did you want? Tied. My hands were tied.
P.S. I really hope we don't see more of Spooky Joe this season. I will say, though, someone commented on our actual episode and was like, the two of you talking about Joe sent me. And I was like, we hate Joe. We don't even know her. Okay, Courtney says, I'm going out on a limb here, but it does seem pretty fucking fishy that Jax and Brittany announced their split weeks before their new series start. Jax has always been so much more staged than the rest of them. He's a fame-hungry douche, and Brittany is just an annoying, helpless people pleaser with the most god-awful laugh. Don't get me wrong, I hate them both. Courtney, you on track.
I don't think Jax is like produced or scripted by any means. I think he's willing to do anything for reality TV. Yeah. Alicia, what do you think about this separation thing?
I think it's fishy because they're like, we're separating, but we're not splitting. We're just separating, but we're not splitting. We're separating. We're not splitting. We're not divorcing. We're together. We're in the same house, but we're not living in the same house.
I find the time of it to be weird because we're 2 weeks out from the premiere.
Well, the trailer just like came out.
Dropped. Yeah. I find it very odd and suspect. I need to see if I can find anything on TikTok about like Brittany's movements, because if I don't see her at an actual house, different house, I don't believe it. Also, it's
Yeah.
weird that she would move out because I would think that she has, I'll call it more custody or would like sleep in the same house as Cruz rather than Jack sleeping in the same house as Cruz.
Is it bad to say I don't care if they stay married or split up?
No, I don't care either. But
Like
that's why I think this is more suspect because she said
yeah.
she moved out.
That was also a little weird.
Yeah. So like, would you
It
move
seems
you and
very
Cruz out of the
Kyle and
house?
Mauricio. Where they
Yes.
think now everyone's gonna tune in, but really like we don't care.
I think that they're like throwing a Hail Mary to try and. Other people are saying they're going to watch this show, but I think they're throwing a Hail Mary to guarantee people will watch this show.
I have other shows I need to catch up on. This is the bottom of my whole ass barrel, so we'll see. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I plan on getting input from our patrons to
Oh
tell
my
me
god,
what's
yeah,
going
you
on with
guys
that
watch.
show.
We'll watch once the live seasons are over because we have to do this. So
I may not watch it
we'll
all.
get there.
I'm going to be honest.
I feel the same about Vanderpump Villa. Don't ask me if I'm watching that.
Oh, I'm absolutely not watching that. I want Jackson Brittany's show to be a one seasoner, and so then we can watch
cover it.
So that's why I want to also save it. Like I don't want to give it the support.
Solid. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it. Especially during like the live seasons that are happening. I don't have time to deal with
it. Would take me until the fall to maybe watch
it.
it.
So, Chrissy then says, "I'm so over Lisa and her meddling. Say one nice thing about Sandoval." Gag. Agreed. She's gonna. Dare I say she's going to be the most hated person of the season. Because we already know.
We don't really block Lisa, but there's a lot of instances where I'm mad at Lisa.
I know. How about we tell Sandoval to get a damn clue? Is Graham really Graham? I don't know. Why isn't this dog freaking chipped? That would solve everything. Oh, do you?
Wait, what does that mean? Why?
I think she doesn't know if Graham is really Graham. He's chipped because Lisa got him.
That's how they found out. That's how it got to Lisa. Like,
yeah.
The dog went to a trainer the dog went from Raquel's family to a trainer. The trainer was like, fuck, I'm done with this. Raquel's family did not want Graham back. The trainer then, I think, took the dog to a local pound. Like, the change of hands was, like, appropriate of, like, hey, we don't want this dog, maybe somebody else will. Then they chipped the dog and scanned it and saw it was Lisa Vanderpump's, and I think because it's so... And the trainer, I think, told the pound, like, hey, this is very high profile. Like, I don't want to talk about where this dog came from. When they scanned it, saw it was Vanderpump, they were like, oh, fuck. Like, contacted her. She was like, give me the dog. Obviously, Lisa, too. James. That's what I'd heard before the season.
That's what I'd heard, too. So I don't know much about dogs, but I would assume the dog is then chipped.
I think the dog's chipped. So, I mean, this could be a different dog still, but that would be so fun.
Stop spreading conspiracy theories, Chrissy, because I love one and I will spread it.
Is this a tamer dog?
I will spread it.
Because it's a different dog. Oh my
God. They
sedated
the dog. That. They probably sedated it.
They actually
probably did. So Chrissy says, maybe just projecting since I dropped my puppy Vera off at her board and train yesterday and won't see her for 2 weeks. Don't even think about switching my dog on me. I will know. Oh my
God. That happen? What a fear.
Oh my God.
New fear unlocked.
I'll never get a pet now.
Well, I would get like a spotted one so you know exactly, like, the spots are very unique.
You dye it a weird color or like give it a weird mark.
A child switched at birth.
Yeah.
But like,
that's a fear. Yeah.
My God.
All that being said, I'm in my Adam Sandler era, had me screaming. I am still a Schwartz stan. Come at me, I'll fight you. Oh, I will show up to that fight, Chrissy. Oh,
you love a good Schwartz funny comment, though.
But he is I don't stan him by any means.
I stan his stupid comment.
He's an idiot. Okay, but fine. Okay, great. So that is that. We did it. Check us out. Do all the things. Leave us reviews. Check out Summer House. We got it all. We're in it to win it. Ooh, and Meredith, do you have anything to say before I close this out?
No, I can't wait for more. I'm loving this.
Great. Well, forget what you heard and remember where you heard it first.